Fighting Blindness Canada's Young Leaders program is a career-oriented initiative that provides young people living with vision loss in Canada with the tools they need to develop their skills and pursue rewarding careers. The session you're about to watch is a recording. To learn more about the Young Leaders program, please visit the link in the video description below. The Young Leaders program is proudly supported by RBC Future Launch, Rhythm Pharmaceuticals, and the J.P. Bickell Foundation. We hope that you enjoy the session and share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.
I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker this morning. I got to meet Bobbi last night at dinner, and we had a wonderful conversation. Bobbi is many things, including a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. She works in HR as well as is a student currently studying HR online. She was born with a degenerative eye condition, which has taken most of her sight, but as I learned last night, if you want her to do something, tell her she can't do it. Her most recent adventure was learning to play hockey, and soon she'll also be learning how to paddleboard. Her lack of eyesight doesn't slow her down and encourages her to dream outside of the box. She works with AMI, teaching in Healthy at Home, and specializes in adaptive fitness. From powerlifting to ballet and her career in HR, breaking down barriers is what she does. So with that, I'd like to introduce Bobbi. The floor is yours.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Is that all right? Okay. Well, that got me a little teary. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure to get to know you. Some of you who I haven't met yet, please feel free to stop me because I would love to meet you. This has just been an amazing experience. So as said, my name is Bobbi Janzen. I'm going to describe myself for you. I may be wrong, but you'll get the idea. I'm about 5'6", so average height, average build, but I am so not average. I have long, we're gonna call it silver hair because I think that sounds fancy, but it's gray. It's my COVID hair. It's curled today. It's normally kind of giant because it's super thick and long. I've been told I have green eyes, so I think that's where it's at. I'm wearing sunglasses today. I have tattoos on both arms. I'm kind of tattooed up. Normally, I have a sidekick with me, and I'm not talking about my husband, Dean, because he's with me here today, and he's usually with me, but I just retired my guide dog in January, so normally he's with me, so instead I have my fancy cane, and she's not nearly as receptive as my guide dog, so this has been taking a little bit of getting used to. So that kind of gives you a visual of who I am. I think I'm wearing a flowered dress and white sandals today. It's flowered or it's abstract, so there's a little bit of a visual. I was in a Zoom meeting, and I hate Zoom because I have no idea who I'm talking to. And I believe it was with Microsoft and Bell, and somebody did this. They introduced themselves and described themselves, and it was a game changer for me. I'm like, oh, now I know who I'm talking to. So I'm trying to get people at work to start doing this in Zoom, but they'd rather just be really quiet and let Bobbi do it. It's like, okay, we know what Bobbi looks like, but everybody else is going to be quiet. So hopefully it's a little bit helpful to you. So I am a wife, a mother. I have two grown daughters. They're probably the age of some of you, from what I've been hearing. So 23 and she will be 23. So 22 and 25 are my girls right now, Rossi and Piper. And I have a grandson who's going to be 3, and his name is Maverick. He keeps us very, very, very busy. So I've had all kinds of opportunities in my life, and my current career is in human resources as a human resources specialist with the YMCA of Saskatoon. I'm a registered professional recruiter with the Canadian Professional Recruiters Association. I am the host of Healthy at Home with AMI, which is a fitness show that is accessible, and it is described in particular for the visually impaired. I'm a personal trainer, a group fitness instructor, but those have taken a little bit of a backseat aside from my career with AMI. And I am a student in my spare time. So why I'm here is to talk to you a little bit about the ups and downs in careers. I've had a few, and I'm sure, even though I'm going to be 47 here right away, I'm not done my career adventures. So if you can take some things away from this today, the biggest one is don't ever let anyone put you in a box. What I mean by that, this is who you are. Don't let society decide who you are and what you're capable of. The only person that can set limits on you is you. And even then, set those limits sky high. Sometimes laws get in the way, like, Bobbi, you probably shouldn't drive a car. But, thanks to Google, that might be very possible one day. So I'm never going to say never, that I won't drive, I won't do these things. Don't be afraid to fail. We're all going to fail. I have failed many times. But with that failure has come success. Don't be afraid to succeed. Don't hold yourself back. You might stumble getting to where you're going, but when you get there, it's going to be pretty awesome. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story about these boxes and these barriers. I had a conversation with my dad. I love my dad. He's lovely. But we're going to agree to disagree on this. When I started playing hockey this year, which has been something I wanted to do since I was a kid, but couldn't do. Society said I couldn't do it. But now that we've got blind hockey, look out, here I come. And I said something about playing blind hockey, and he goes, well, no, you are visually challenged. I said, huh? What? He goes, that is what you should be called. I thought, what do you mean what I should be called? He goes, that's what society should be saying, that you are visually challenged. And I said, absolutely not. I said, first of all, tell the Canadian Blind Hockey that they're not supposed to be called Canadian Blind Hockey. Second of all, I said, that's not how I want to identify. And he goes, well, how? He goes, do you want to use visually impaired? Do you want to use? And I said, I want to be called Bobbi. That's how I want to be identified. And he goes, well, that's not how it works. You need a label. I said, no, don't give me a label. And I said this, of course, with affection. I said, but please, if anything, I want to be known for me. Not for what I can't do, for what I can do. And like you were saying before, when you introduced me, Vesper, that you tell me I can't, and it's game on. Let's find that as a challenge. So don't let society give you those labels. Be known for your unique talents and what you can bring. So that really showed me a few things, and it's kind of what I've started to represent. So I was born with multiple visual conditions, and they don't know the end prognosis, and they're degenerative. So it is what it is. But I was not given a diagnosis until I was 27. So I was born in the 70s, very long time ago, very, very long time ago. And I had teenage parents. And I was born in Saskatchewan. So Saskatchewan's a little bit behind in tech, from what I'm hearing, in sports. So I have to come visit you all. It sounds like there's some exciting adventures waiting to happen. So we're just a bit behind in how things run. So I was always, Bobbi can't do this, Bobbi can't see so well, but never told why. The first time I was actually beaten up, and there's been many, for being different, I was 5 years old. So, and I didn't understand why. I just had glasses, right? That's all I knew is that maybe I looked a little different. But that's when these labels started being put on me, that Bobbi doesn't do this, Bobbi can't do that. And you start to believe those things. So the ball was kind of dropped in my school years. The help wasn't there, the tech wasn't there, the assistance wasn't there. So I learned through hearing. I learned through memorizing, and thank goodness I have an all right memory. Maybe not so much in these years, but I did then, and I made it through school with so many challenges, and my teachers were like, well, you're just not so smart, you're not so this, and I thought, well, even if I wasn't so smart, what does this matter? I'm still Bobbi. So I ended up, I did graduate, and it was because I didn't want to stay there any longer. It was a tough road. So having my diagnosis finally in my adult years as my vision progressed, I took time to grieve, and that surprised me. And it's okay to grieve. Just don't pack your suitcase and stay there. We all have things in life, whether it's illness or tragedy or just loss of certain things, that we're allowed to grieve. And through that, we grow. And by that time, I had 2 daughters. And somebody said to me, I was out walking with my 2 girls because I walked everywhere. I did know I couldn't drive. That was a very bad idea. Whose children are these? And I said, well, they're mine. She said, you are very selfish. And I thought, sorry? Come again? And she said to put this life on children. And that's when I thought, no, society doesn't see me for who I am. And if you ask my daughters, they've never been held back. Actually, if anything, they've been encouraged to be more, to try things. And they have to put up with me, and I'm a lot, okay? It's like, okay, guys, guess what we're doing this week? Mom's gonna pack her hockey bag, or she's gonna play goal ball, or, oh, look, squirrel. So it's trying all these things, and they've learned to not put limits on themselves. So hopefully I've passed on that legacy to them. So my hunt for a career, I had plenty of jobs, but we're gonna talk careers, was in my 20s once I had my kids, and I knew kind of what was going on. I was in that sad spot where I wasn't gonna stay. I was in that grieving spot, and my husband actually, and picture this please, he picked me up physically and put me in the car and said, I am taking you to yoga. I don't wanna do yoga, that's dumb. He goes, it's gonna be good for you, and I'll pick you up when you're done. And I was so mad. I don't think I've told him to the degree that I was mad. Thought, dare you tell me what to do, and I don't wanna do this. Okay, well, I came out smiling and I loved it. So sometimes I need a little bit of a push or a physical, here you go. And that's when I knew what I wanted to do. It was the first moment where I felt, well, there's many moments I felt joy, but that career path, that joy, that passion. So find out what lights that for you. But guess what? Nobody wanted to work with me because I couldn't see so good, and I had to learn differently. And I thought, well, that sucks. So I found somebody who would work with me. And the woman that did end up training me, I went to Toronto to be certified. She actually had a disability that she didn't disclose to me until shortly before she passed away. But that's the reason she took me on. She goes, it's people like you that see the potential in everyone, because I want to do things differently and I want to learn differently. And guess what? We all learn differently, regardless of sight, regardless of ability, regardless of disability. It doesn't matter. We have different learning styles. So I got certified and I began teaching, and I thought, well, that's fun. Now what? I wanted more. So I started doing Pilates because for my body, that's what it needed. I have an inflammatory arthritis, and some days my body hates me. It causes pain and stiffness, and that's okay. But Pilates helped a bit with that, and I didn't know that that's what was going on. And I did enough that I was asked to film for a major, I'm not going to say who it is, a major Pilates giant. And when I got to Toronto, they did the filming, and I said, okay, so I want to become certified. And when they found out about my vision, they said, no, we will not certify you. You cannot teach because you were blind. Something in me broke a little. I thought, you can't tell me I can't. That's not very nice. And so once again, I found a way, and I found someone who would work with me. And these people in my lives they've been absolute gems. But I didn't stop there. My poor husband. It's like, ooh, let's try this. So I went on, and it's every step in my career. Well, you can't teach fitness. You can't be a personal trainer. There's nobody like you. Oh, great, now there is. So I did Zumba. I've certified in Zumba toning, HIIT. You name it, I tried it, bar. It's finding these certifications, because what I did find, and I hope it has changed for you, but I had to be twice as certified to be considered half as good. So I started putting my resumes out there to work. And, oh, you were very qualified. Let's bring you in for an interview. And I show up with my dark glasses, and please remove your glasses. I explain why, that I don't filter and process light the same. It's incredibly painful, so they need to leave them on. Oh, you can't teach her. Why? This doesn't impact my job. What are people going to think? They're going to think that they had an awesome class. That's what they're going to think. But they didn't take the time to see what I could do. I ended up getting a guide dog. That was a long process. I first went in 2005, and that's when I was really heavy into the yoga portion of my career, and she bit me every time I did yoga. This happens, but getting bit in the rear every time you, and that's where she bit me, was in the rear. Every time you did a downward facing dog, it's not gonna fly. So unfortunately, she was career changed. She also liked to take ice cream from children, so she had a beautiful career in, I think she had something to do with, she had a high smell drive, so the career changed her to something where she could use her nose. But I ended up getting it took me some time. I received Nikon, who was my first, I want to say, official working guide in 2015. And he went everywhere with me. But if people would see me come in with a dog, oh, you can't bring a dog in here. Well, he's not a dog. He's a piece of medical equipment, and he's part of who I am. What are people going to think? What does it matter? They don't know me. Let them get to know me. What are they going to think? They're going to think, darn, he's cute. That's what they're going to think. Because he was pretty stinking cute. If he's not licking your feet while you're doing spin class. You know, it happens. So it came down to what society thought of me. And I thought, we're going to break these walls down. I was out walking in the park, and my O&M instructor happened to flag me down. She was in the area. It was strange. And she was working with a little boy, and he was 5, and he was using his white cane for the first time. So she thought she would introduce us. And I explained that I had my dog with me, and that I also had a white cane. And he said to me, when I grow up, and I'm sorry if I get teary, because this was so darn sweet, he goes, I want to be like you. And I thought, you know what? All right, buddy. There's so many barriers. I want to help change this so for you, it's easier. I didn't want him to have to fight. Wow. To be seen as who he was. And I can't give out his name because of privacy, but I want him to be seen for the beautiful human he is. So I started doing that, and that was people telling me I couldn't attend fitness classes. I started training instructors to teach people with vision loss, to teach people with hearing loss. And I am a meanie. I took a group of instructors, I blindfolded them, and I put earplugs in them, and I said, now we're going to do fitness. And they said, this is terrifying, Bobbi. And I said, no. This is thinking outside the box. And it made them excellent instructors. I did not leave them stranded, don't worry. It sounds very mean, but we had a guide with them. We had them learn what it's like to feel fitness. And that is a huge passion for me, and that's part of my career I still retained. Kind of feeling a little bit lost trying to find my way in that fitness career because so many people said no. I walked into the YMCA and I didn't have a whole lot of hope. I'm going to be honest. I thought, they're going to see me, but maybe, because I'm a pretty optimistic person. They did not say a word about, I had a dog, I had a cane, I had dark glasses. They did not care. They saw me for me. And that's where I've been since. I've been there for just about 6 years. My career has changed, though. I was teaching a lot of mainstream fitness, meaning my passion is in teaching adaptive fitness and fitness for everyone. This was a bit more teaching people that did not need the change or want the change. And so that passion died a little for me. And along with my body saying, Bobbi, you can't do this so much anymore, I wanted to see where I needed that impact to be. And it's in human connection and the human experience. So people, And what is more people than human resources? It is all about people. We call people our human capital. I did a lot of human resources in my role. I became the fitness director, so I managed a team of over 30 people. So I had that human resources piece, and I thought, oh, I love this. And how can I break down barriers for people like me in the application process, in the accommodation process? How can I show staff that, you know what, when I show up for an interview, look at me for me. So I made the switch to human resources. So that being said, that's been a fun ride. I've trained managers on hiring biases, and I hope to make that change on an even bigger scale. So we all have biases. We all assume things. How do we break those pieces down? And I've hit bumps in the road. I had somebody standing outside my door, and I have hearing like anything, I think. I can hear you talking. And this one woman said, why is Bobbi in human resources? She can't do that. She can't see. I thought, oh, I don't need to see you to understand your worth. I was still missing something though, that piece in fitness, that adaptive piece, because I kind of traded it off to move into human resources. And that's what I'm studying for now and working in, and I love it. But there's that little piece. And when AMI found me, because I did a portion on #IGotThis, and they said, wait, you do fitness. I'm like, that was then. They're like, but you still do fitness. I'm like, well, sort of, yeah. It's a part of me. And they said, how do you feel about doing an adaptive TV show for those who want this, those who could really benefit from this? And I had to think about it, because it's stepping back into a role that I just sort of slowly transitioned out. I said, yeah, I'm in. So we're working on our second season. So that's a lot of fun, and it maintained that love for making change. So find that part in your career, and if you have 5 careers, 10 careers, that doesn't matter. Find something that fills your passion. Find your people, those who believe in you when sometimes society won't. And when someone tells you you can't, game on. So when I played goalball for a while, and that was purely because I'm afraid of a dodgeball. I don't think any of you can blame me. That is like the first form of bullying, I think, is dodgeball. So I thought, how do I get over this fear? Oh, let's go get hit by a ball. Yeah. We're going to play goalball. So I embraced that, but my body didn't like it after a few years. I was the old lady on the team, I'm not going to lie, okay? So, like I said, I'm going to be 47. I started playing in my late 30s with a bunch of 19, 20-year-olds. You don't hurt as much as I do. So eventually injury said, okay, Bobbi, you might not want to get whipped by a ball from Nancy Morin. She can throw, or could throw, like nobody I've ever met, and I was on the receiving end. Yeah. So eventually it came to the point that my body didn't like it so much, and I had a friend who was a power lifter. And I said, maybe I should try this, and oh no, you're a woman, you're blind, you're small. I'm like, pfft. Yeah. So I thought, okay, my poor husband. Okay, baby, I'm gonna try this now. And I just was so sick of being put in that box. And this is part of my athletic career, was a big part of my career, and formed who I am now. I started training, and the first time I picked up a deadlift, something in my heart started to sing. I got my power back, my voice back. That might not be powerlifting for you, and it's not now, today for me, but it is a part. So find the things that give you your power, your voice. And you can't compete. Oh boy. I obtained 4 world records, IBSA world records, because I was told I can't. I trained that hard. I thought, no. And then that's good, I'm done. My body also began to not like that, because I think I'm a tiny bit competitive, you guys. A little bit. And I will compete till my body says, girl, you're done. And on that stage, it was done. And I had a major surgery. They removed an organ. And they said to me, Bobbi, you're never going to powerlift again. Sorry, I'm teary. And I got up 4 months later and competed on a Canadian stage. Was it smart? I was in conjunction with my doctors, don't worry, people. But I just was tired of society saying no. That's played into who I am now. I don't want the doors to be shut for people. That's why human resources. That's why AMI. That's why, am I my final career destination? Who knows? But it will be with people. I know that that's what I am meant to do. I have notes here, and I'm not really sure why I have them. I think it's kind of like a security blanket, you guys. It's not so much for reading. But that is a little bit about who I am and what I do and why. You'll hear no. Okay, that's not the door to knock on, or maybe it's the door that you should push through. With respect, of course. But you are so much more. Find your full potential. Find the things that fill you. Sometimes, yes, a job is a job, and we need those to survive. I've had my job as a job because that's what pays the bills. When you find your career, make sure it's here. When people tell you you can't, you might have to do it differently. It's like suiting up for hockey this year. I was told, yeah, you can't do that. And it's here. I'm a Canadian kid. I didn't get a chance to play hockey. Now I get to play hockey. So maybe one day I'll get to play with my grandson. And because I can't, it's no, I'm just going to do it a little bit differently. We're in the era of technology. You guys are in the greatest era. I had a rotary phone. Do you know how many times that thing has to go around when you have dial 0? A lot, right? Like, you guys are in the era to make change. Don't let yourself get put in that box. Push the sides of that box down, not just for you, for the people that come behind you. Fill your soul with what your career is. Rejection is okay, and it's not okay. It's not you, it's them. It's like a breakup. It's not me, it's you. And that's okay. Because maybe it means it's not the right place, or maybe it means that's where we have to focus on that change. Show them who you are. Because each of you are beautiful and strong and amazing. Accept those challenges. And sometimes they're going to hurt, like getting a goal ball to the face. It hurts a little bit, so just turn your head next time. And be unapologetically you. That is who I am, faults and all, unapologetically me. Hockey playing, ballet dancing, cake eating, me. And I hope to make a difference in the human resources field that I am in now. And you will still see me on AMI, so I hope you guys get a chance to follow along. Give me some feedback so I can better help you. And all I can say is enjoy the ride, you guys, because it's quite something, and I'm not fully there yet. So I think I'm getting close to my time. If I'm right, I'd love to hear from you if you have questions for me. And all I can say is an absolute pleasure and an honor meeting each and every one of you, because you have really made a difference here. So thank you. Yell them out. But please, if you don't mind telling me your name before you ask them, that would be great.
Maybe one of our co-chairs can kick us off.
Sure. Hey, Bobbi, Tommy.
Hi.
You mentioned that you're ultra competitive.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Yes. So, do you ever feel like your over-competitiveness comes off as aggressive to people around you, and how do you deal with that?
Sometimes, maybe. And it's more because I've had to fight so hard to get where I am. Sometimes I have to take a step back and it's like, okay, Bobbi, cool your jets a little bit here. And I try to think of it from who's around me, their point of view, how it might come off. So I try and be mindful, but Yeah, deep down there's that little piece of me that's still a little bit running for the end goal.
Any other questions? Don't be shy.
Don't be shy at all. It's not me that bit. It's my first guide dog that bit. Right.
I think you might have, this is Jacqueline. I think you might have said acronym, IBS. What is that?
IBSA, International Blind Sports Association. So I got to be a part of watching some of the strongest people in the world. Sighted or not, didn't matter. I believe, I don't know, my husband might be able to correct me. There was a gentleman from, I want to say Trinidad competing, and he squatted 1,000 pounds. So it was, oh yeah, it was pretty cool. I cannot squat 1,000 pounds, not then, not now, but he was pretty cool to watch. And listen to the sound of squatting 1,000 pounds, it's loud, okay?
What's the heaviest that you lifted in your power?
For deadlift, that was my record I broke. Oh my goodness. Dean, do you remember? It's a long time ago. So it's based on weight, and I think it was just about 3 times my weight. I weighed in at about 113 pounds at the time. And it was just over 300, and I want to say 325, I think. So you have to think, when this guy's squatting 1,001 pounds, he's not 113 pounds, right? He's a giant. So I think that was probably my heaviest, was 325, around there.
You did 3 of those, that's like 1,000.
Exactly, and I was up there enough that I think I did, so. Pick it up, put it down, that was my job.
Bobbi, it's Morgan. What
Hi,
advice
Morgan.
would you have for someone who's interested in getting involved in blind sports but not really sure where to start?
Well, first of all, like I said, y'all are in amazing provinces with more resources than Saskatchewan has, okay? I hear about all these things, I'm like, ooh, I'm moving here, we're gonna try this. So reach out to your blind sports, your local association, find out what there is, and if they don't have it, advocate for it. We did not have powerlifting. I advocated till I was blue in the face because I was doing it whether they supported me or not. Because ultimately, it's what you want. We have the ability to do anything. It's just doing it a little different. I had to learn how to walk around in squat shoes, which is like the equivalent of high heels, which is pretty nasty. But I had to learn how to do it differently. So reach out to those associations that you have, and if they don't have it, make some noise, people. Follow that passion. So that would be my advice. And if they still don't have it, find someone who will work with you, or who will learn, or who you can teach to work with you, so you can do the things that you want to do, or try these sports.
Bobbi, this is Larissa.
Hi, Larissa.
When you were talking about training to be a fitness instructor and a yoga instructor, what were some of the accommodations that either you made or that you asked your organizations to make to help you be the best instructor?
There was a few. So it's usually, look at what I do and do it. Well, that's not going to work. So I would ask them to describe it. So I really had to give a lot of feedback into this is how I need you to describe it. Okay, that's not working. Where am I going to feel this? Because I had to demonstrate these things. So I had to teach them to teach me, which was really rewarding for me because it shows me how I need to teach other people. And it shows them how to teach people that, you know, if you go in, I want you to do a squat. It doesn't matter who you are. If you don't understand what a squat is, you need to hear what it sounds like. You need to feel where you need to feel it. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong. The exams, pen and paper. So I'm sorry, that's not going to work. So at the time I'm thinking of one of my CanFit Pro exams. She actually read it to me, and it was wonderful. So it's just finding those different things. And Zumba, if any of you have heard it or tried it, it's nonverbal. What the heck? So I thought, okay, how the heck are we going to do this? Because I'm doing it. I'm here. And so I explained to them what I need. I need you to, I know we're not supposed to use verbal cues, but I need you to cue me. And they did. And so when I teach, I add these cues, even though it's technically against Zumba protocol, they've learned the benefit as to, you know, what crossing right foot over left, that's still pretty tough. And if you're in the back of the room, sighted or not, you don't know what's going on up there. So it was just getting these little pieces put into place that they were even missing. So fighting for those types of accommodations and just knowing that, hey, you know what? You might see me as different, but I'm no different than the person next to me. I'm just going to need some different pieces to put this all together. So those were some of the accommodations that I needed. And I still maintain a couple of my certifications today. The others I've kind of just let go because there's no room. There's no room in my hockey bag for all these things. So hopefully that answers that a little bit.
Hi, Bobbi. My name's Colby.
Hi, Colby.
Hi. What skills or attributes would you say came in handy when starting your career in human resources?
I don't know if you noticed this, but I like to talk.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy people. So for me, that was what I took from my fitness career, was making these connections, those skills. Can you work in human resources if you're shy? Absolutely. But you're going to have to talk to people. So communication, interpersonal skills, and just the desire to build relationships. That's kind of where I knew it was the right calling for me, and to help break down these barriers, because I keep pushing the envelope a little bit. And where is the best place to do it? For me, it's in human resources, especially in the province I live in, for creating change.
Hi, Bobbi, it's Alan.
Hi.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
In terms of, because you talked a lot about, you know, hitting barriers and then overcoming
Yes.
them. I guess my question, because I assume you probably have the same situation I've been in, where you hit wall after wall after wall.
Yes.
Like, what do you do in terms of like self-care and like keeping yourself motivated? Because it could be hard after the third, fourth, fifth time, and you still have 6 or 7 more to go. Like, what do you do to keep yourself kind of up at that situation?
It is very hard, and you are not wrong. First, I cry. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes, you know, this just sucks, so I have to feel the feelings. You know what, because if you just keep pushing them down, they come out explosive, and that's when I have to do kickboxing or something. But it is tough, and you're allowed to own those feelings. Like I said, try, if you can, to not stay in there. Rely on your support system. I have a great support system. You know, you can talk it out. Self-care is huge. I still do yoga to this day as much as I can. So find out what feels good for you, whether it's meditating, yoga, walking, anything. Hold on to that and tap into it, and know that through all those no's, through all those barriers, someone's going to say yes. It might take 10 times, it might take 20 times. But you know what? That's also not, maybe that wasn't the right door. And it's coming still. So knowing something beautiful is coming, or that for every time someone says no, you got to show them who you were, who you are. So you've started to make that change. But find the little things and hold on to those, and they will get you through those dark patches, and not every door will remain closed, I promise. And if it does, come see me and I'll just kick it down. Thank you very much.